Even CNN thought it was unconstitutional. Yeah, so it was out there. I'm talking about the New Mexico governor's gun order that was slapped down by a judge. This is a headline from the Daily Signal. New Mexico governor's insanely unconstitutional gun edict slapped down in court. And when they say insanely unconstitutional, they're not really exaggerating because it was out there. Before we talk about the temporary restraining order, let's just refresh your memories on the actual what the governor did. So this is Governor, I think, Michelle Grisham. She issued what she described as an emergency public health order suspending the right to open carry or concealed carry guns, basically in and around Albuquerque. And I think she cited some recent shootings as why this is a public health emergency and why she could do that. Now, you may be wondering why she would do that when it clearly violates the Constitution. And that's because she left the copy of the Constitution in her other pants, apparently. Anyway, here's a video of her defending her order.
If there's an emergency, and I've declared an emergency for a temporary amount of time, I can invoke additional powers. No constitutional right, in my view, is intended to be absolute.
Right after she issued the order, there were a number of Democrats who came out and said it was unconstitutional, including the AG from New Mexico. Also, I believe there was a sheriff there, a few other prominent Democrats who came out and said it's not constitutional. I will say one Democrat who didn't say it was unconstitutional was Dianne Feinstein, but she doesn't know what planet she's on. So, suspending constitutional rights under the guise of an emergency public health order? She can't violate the Constitution like that. Only the federal government can. That's right, the federal government, they are pretty good at taking away rights based on emergencies, right? Just look back to the pandemic. How many constitutional rights were violated during the pandemic? All of them? No, I'm not even kidding. So if you look back to when they were doing the quarantining, here are the rights that I think were probably violated. Physical liberty, right to interstate travel, right to have access to courts, First Amendment, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of religion. I could go on, but pretty much all of them. But at least it was worth it, right? If we look back, we're like, wow, we're really glad that they did that because it turned out well. A federal judge just granted a temporary restraining order Wednesday in 5 separate lawsuits alleging that the public health order violates the Second Amendment of the Constitution. The judge ruled that the gun owners and gun rights organizations would likely succeed on the merits of the case. The judge that issued this temporary restraining order was appointed by President Biden. That's right, a Biden-appointed judge upheld parts of the Constitution. I'm sure they won't let that happen again. That's why you ask some questions during that hearing. You need to make sure they either don't know what the Constitution is or they kind of promise that they won't ever uphold parts of it, okay? Let's be more careful next time, President Biden. The judge cited 2 Supreme Court cases in his order. He cited the Heller case from 2008 and then also the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin from 2022, so just last year. Here's a quick summary of that Bruin case. In the Bruin case, a New York state law required applicants for a pistol concealed carry license to show either proper cause or a special need distinguishable from that of the general public. And in that decision, the Supreme Court said that that was unconstitutional and that the ability to carry a pistol in public was a constitutional right guaranteed by the Second Amendment. It's almost like the governor in New Mexico read the holding of that case and said, hey, let's do the opposite in New Mexico. How about that? I mean, maybe it was opposite day or opposite month or something, but that was right on. Like, that is almost the exact opposite of what the Supreme Court said a year ago. In the temporary restraining order, the judge ordered the state of New Mexico not to enforce that part of the order that restricted gun rights. So that is where we are on that case right now. I did wonder when I was reading this if the governor of New Mexico talked to any other of the Democrats before she tried this. Like, she was on the short list to become the vice president with President Biden. So I just wondered, like, did she make some phone calls? And they were like, yeah, try it, go for it, let's see if this works. And they were all hoping that it might actually work. They would. I don't know for sure, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're Facebook friends and she sent messages. I'm just wondering who she talked to And if they were encouraging her and like excited, like, yes, this emergency thing works all the time. Let's try it with gun rights, because, you know. Anyway, all right, thank you for watching this longer video, and we'll see you next time.